A year into our marriage, and my husband had never touched me. Just as I was about to find a man to cheat with, comments started scrolling across my vision. The side character is so clueless. Does she have any idea what kind of a beast the male lead is keeping leashed in his pants? He doesn't touch her because he's afraid she can't handle it. He's terrified she'll hate him, so he's bottling it up until he's about to explode. And what happens? His wife runs off with some other guy. LMAO. Hehe, if she doesn't mess up, how can the female lead come and save him? Our girl gets treated so well later on. It's nonstop action, day and night. The comments left me frozen. The side character was me, and the male lead was that my husband in name only Jack. Before I could process it, a man's voice pulled me back. Rosalind? Did you need something from me? The man before me wore a pair of silver-rimmed glasses, his features handsome and scholarly. His name was Arthur. He was one of the few men in our small town with a college education. He was also the man I was planning to sleep with. His gaze shifted to the eggs I was holding out. Are those for me? He asked, his eyes betraying a flicker of excitement beneath a veneer of modesty. They were. Or, they were supposed to be. A year of marriage, and my husband wouldn't lay a finger on me. The other young wives who got hitched around the same time were already pregnant with their second while I hadn't even had a wedding night. I can't count the number of times the neighbors have whispered behind my back, calling me a barren hen. I'm not a woman with thick skin. And, at this point, does it matter who the father is? So I'd set my sights on the bookish Arthur. I just needed a donor. But now, remembering the strange words that had floated past my eyes, I hesitated. The comments appeared again. This girl's got terrible taste. She's got a man with broad shoulders and a lean waist, a top-tier body, and she's chasing after this skinny beanpole. All she has to do is crook her finger, and the ML would go at it with her till dawn. But no, she picks the guy who's done in 10 minutes. The contrast is just painful. Holy crap. Why didn't you guys say so earlier? Nothing. Just passing by. I snatched the eggs back and sprinted away. I ran all the way home. A thin wisp of smoke curled from the chimney. Jack was standing at the stove, focused on cooking. He must have just gotten off work. He hadn't even changed. Sweat soaked his shirt, clinging to his body and outlining the powerful, tight muscles beneath. His back was a solid wall of strength, his waist lean and powerful. His sleeves were rolled up, revealing tanned, sinewy forearms. I swallowed hard. Jack looked like he had endless stamina. It was one of the main reasons I'd agreed to marry him in the first place. The comments flickered to life again. Look at that build. 6'3" of pure, rugged male lead. An athlete's waist. This guy is a certified weapon. She almost got to taste the good stuff. You give her the opportunity and she still fumbles it. What a beautiful idiot. Good thing she's a fool. Our sweet female lead would never want a man another woman's already used. I gritted my teeth. Calling me a fool was one thing, but telling me my husband had to stay celibate for some so-called female lead? The hell with that. Tonight Jack was mine. Jack hadn't said a word since I'd stormed in. He just kept working silently at the stove. A sliver of doubt crept in. Were these comments just messing with me? His cold demeanor didn't exactly scream, I'm in love with you. I pulled out the eggs, about to put them back in the kitchen. Just then, a deep, magnetic voice sounded right next to my ear. Did you go to the chicken coop? My heart leaped, and I spun around, relieved. I was overthinking it. He did care about me, but his brow was furrowed, his eyes filled with disapproval. Didn't I tell you not to do that kind of work? His tone was scolding. I was stunned. He was yelling at me. And for what? For getting eggs from our own coop. This is what the comments called love. A wave of anger washed over me, and I was about to snap back with a sarcastic remark. Just then new comments flew by. See? You're jumping to conclusions again. He's not mad at you. The coop is filthy, and he doesn't want you going in there. He quietly takes care of all the dirty, tiring chores himself. It breaks my heart to see the ML being so good to her when I know our sweet FL is waiting. Can this side character just get written out of the story already? I'm so over her. Who cares about that? As a romance connoisseur, I just want to know if he's bigger than an egg down there. Much bigger. The anger vanished as I read, but when my eyes caught the last two audacious comments, I nearly choked. A large, warm hand landed on my back, patting it gently. Jack's expression was full of concern. What's wrong? My gaze drifted downward. Even his loose trousers couldn't hide the impressive bulge at his crotch. The words tumbled out of my mouth before I could stop them. Nothing. Just wondering which is bigger, you or the egg. Jack froze. Then his handsome face flushed a deep crimson. You're a lady, you can't say things like that. Do you want an egg? I can cook another one for you. With that, he practically fled, his movements clumsy and uncoordinated. The comments erupted in laughter. She's lying. In his mind, he's already got her screaming his name. Based on my extensive reading experience, He's probably imagined them going at it so hard they're both drenched. Doesn't even take that long. My cheeks burned. These people were so bold. I was still an innocent young woman. I couldn't listen to this stuff. But my eyes drifted back to Jack's lean, powerful waist. Could you really work up that much of a sweat doing that? While Jack finished cooking, I finally pieced together the whole story from the stream of comments. It turns out I was the villainous ex-wife in a historical romance novel. I was beautiful and thought the world of myself, always dreaming of marrying some rich man and moving to the city to live a life of luxury. But one day, I accidentally fell into the river and was saved by the male lead, Jack. My body had been seen, and the town gossip forced me to marry him. But how could a rough country farmer compare to a well-read scholar? I was filled with resentment. I constantly berated and hit Jack, and shamelessly carried on with Arthur. When the affair was exposed, I demanded a divorce, only to be swindled out of all my money by my lover and eventually starved to death on the streets. I clutched my chest. That was a close call. I'd almost reached the runaway with another man part of the plot. Looking back on the past year, I really had been awful to Jack. How could I fix this? I agonized over it until I glanced up and saw my reflection in the mirror. Even with a frown, my face lost none of its charm. Every expression was captivating. The comments confirmed it. The side character may be an idiot, but damn, she's gorgeous. Honestly, with that face and body, if she wasn't so stupid, the ML would have taken care of her for the rest of his life. Just the sight of her back has him completely mesmerized right now. My eyes darted to the side. Sure enough, in the corner of the mirror, I could see Jack leaning against the doorframe, his gaze locked on my back as if he couldn't bear to even blink. I've never been shy about using my looks to my advantage. And of course, I was more than a little curious to see just how dangerous Jack really was. After all, his powerful physique was a big part of why I'd married him. A year of being a widow with a living husband had left me frustrated. Today I was wearing a form-fitting top and a pair of dark blue trousers. A simple common outfit, but on me, it was undeniably sexy. Big bust, tiny waist, and round hips. I stood up. In the mirror, Jack's eyes followed my every move. The look he cast on my back was hot, obsessive. Then I casually swayed my hips. Gulp. A loud, distinct swallow echoed through the quiet room. A smirk played on my lips. Hook, line, and sinker. I turned to face him. Jack looked flustered, the tips of his ears bright red. The sound of his own gulp had startled him, and he blurted out the first thing that came to mind to cover his embarrassment. Honey, the food's ready. The moment the words left his mouth, he seemed to realize his mistake. His face went pale. A comment promptly appeared. Seriously, this girl is so ungrateful. If the ML hadn't jumped in the river to save her, she would have drowned. And she has the nerve to blame him for ruining her dream of marrying into wealth. She's been a tyrant since they married. She hits him, screams at him, and won't even let him call her honey. RFL is so much better. She only ever thinks about the ML. Not like this spoiled, lazy brat. Remembering my own vicious behavior, the affection in Jack's eyes faded. He lowered his head, his lips pressed into a tight line, bracing himself for the usual storm of insults and blows. But the next moment, a soft warmth pressed against his arm. I stepped forward and wrapped my arms around his strong bicep, my voice a playful purr. Darling, I love it when you call me that. Say it again for me. Jack froze. Then, as if he'd been burned, he yanked his arm away. He strode toward the dinner table, his movement stiff, his ears glowing red. I'll get your plate. I smiled, undeterred. So, I'd been a monster in the past. I could change. A man just needs a little sweet talking. The comments weren't so sure. Hold on. Why the sudden personality transplant? Women with big chests are always the most desperate. I bet she's just after his body. No, the ML is still totally into her right now. If he's not a virgin anymore, what about our sweet FL? My smile widened. Congratulations, you guessed right. And I don't just want to do it once. I want to do it every day. He said he was getting the food, but Jack was nowhere to be found in the kitchen. I didn't think much of it. While I waited, I went back to the room to touch up my makeup. Bold red lips, and eyes that were both sharp and innocently alluring. Like a rose in full, breathtaking bloom. He wouldn't stand a chance. When I came out, Jack was back. But he looked different. His expression seemed even colder than before. My confusion vanished, however, when I saw the dinner table. There were 3 dishes and 2 bowls of rice. One bowl was piled high with rice and meat, forming a small mountain. The other held a meager half bowl of rice with only a few scattered vegetables. Seeing me, Jack pushed the overflowing bowl in my direction. I looked at his own pathetic portion, and a pang of guilt hit me. After we married, Jack never touched me, but he never let me go hungry either. Yet I had been completely dissatisfied with the marriage. I demanded meat at every meal. If I didn't get it, I'd slap him, hit him, and curse him for ruining my chance to marry rich. To give me a good life, he worked from dawn till dusk, and every cent he earned was spent on me. I thought to myself, I really was a monster. I washed my hands. His voice, suddenly near my ear, pulled me from my thoughts. Jack's large, well-defined hands were clenched nervously, his tone cautious. I washed them many times. They're not dirty. I paused. My gaze fell on his sweat-drenched shirt. The work was hard. Every time he came back, he was covered in sweat. He wouldn't even rest before heading straight to the kitchen to cook for me, especially now with the heat sweat beaded on his skin, but it didn't smell bad on his tan skin. It just made him look more masculine. But in my memories, I would knock the bowl from his hands with a look of pure disgust. It's filthy. I'm not eating anything your dirty hands have touched. My eyes instantly welled up, and tears began to stream down my face. Jack panicked. He stood up, wanting to wipe my tears away, but not daring to. The next second, he pulled a small pouch from his pocket and offered it to me, his handsome face a mask of helplessness. This is the money from the hunt today. Go buy yourself a nice meal at a restaurant. It's all my fault. Please just don't cry, okay? I pushed the money away, my voice choked with emotion. I'm not disgusted. I'm heartbroken for you. Jack stared at me, as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. I wiped away my tears and scooped 2/3 of the meat and rice from my bowl into his. It breaks my heart that you work so hard every day and eat so little. Lifting my gaze to his handsome face, I couldn't resist leaning in and planting a soft kiss on his cheek. I'm just at home all day. I don't get tired. I don't need to eat this much. You need to eat more, so you can be strong and take good care of me. His fingers tightened into a fist, his face flushing a deep red. I hid a triumphant smile. See? A little affection was all it took. I leaned in, ready to kiss him again. But the next moment he pushed me away, sending me tumbling to the floor. I looked up and saw that a vein was throbbing at his temple. His face was dark, terrifyingly grim. He turned his head away, his voice heavy with despair. To think you'd lower yourself to sweet-talk me like this, and all for him. Rosalind, my heart isn't made of stone. Did it ever occur to you that I can feel pain, too? Huh? I was completely lost. What other man? What was he talking about? The comments filled me in. Don't worry, guys. The ML just thinks he's about to be cuckolded. RFL needs to show up soon. I feel so bad for the ML. He works himself to the bone to support his family, and his wife not only doesn't love him, but is also cheating on him. When he first heard the rumors in the village, he told himself people were just jealous of his beautiful wife. But now that she's suddenly being nice to him, his heart is completely shattered. My face went pale. Jack found out I was planning to cheat on him? This was a total misunderstanding. I mean, I had the idea, but I didn't actually do anything. There was no time to think. Jack had his head turned away, the veins in his neck standing out in sharp relief. He looked angrier than I'd ever seen him. The comments were no help, just a chorus of glee that he was finally seeing my true colors and would divorce me to be with a female lead. Panic set in. Then, a sharp sting shot through my calf. I realized I'd scraped my leg when I fell. Looking up, I saw Jack's gaze was also fixed on my injury. Tears instantly started to fall. I looked at him with wide, wounded eyes. Honey, it hurts. The chair crashed to the floor as Jack shot up, the coldness in his expression vanishing in an instant. He rushed over and knelt beside me, his voice tight with anxiety as he examined the injury. The angry red scrape stood out starkly against my fair, delicate skin. It's all my fault. I'm a monster. He was so frantic he didn't know what to do. In his panic, he raised his hand and slapped himself hard across the face. Rosie, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have pushed you. Please hit me, okay? I studied his expression carefully. His eyes were filled with nothing but regret and guilt. The earlier fury was completely gone. My confidence returned. I wrapped my arms around his neck and buried my face in his chest, letting out small, hiccuping sobs. My leg hurts. I looked up at him, then pointed to my heart. But this hurts more. I know I've done things wrong in the past, but I've seen the error of my ways. I truly want to build a life with you. And you don't even believe me. My eyes were red, my expression a mixture of stubborn pride and heartbreak. The key to a man's heart? His guilt. And just as I predicted, my accusation left him completely flustered. Beads of sweat formed on his handsome face as he desperately tried to explain. That's not what I meant. I was so angry. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. But I wasn't listening. I pushed myself out of his arms and limped towards the door. If you don't trust me, then maybe we should just get a divorce. The word sent the comments into a frenzy. Yes. She's finally letting the ML go. I support this divorce 1000%. My face darkened, and I almost choked on my fake sobs. Screw you guys. Can't you say something nice for once? But in the next moment, my expression cleared. Divorce? Not in this lifetime. Not in the next. Jack would never divorce me. I hadn't taken 2 steps before I was swept into a searingly hot embrace. Jack held me tight from behind. No, I don't want a divorce. Something warm and wet fell onto my neck. I froze. He was crying. The comments went wild again. Holy crap, I get it now. She's playing him. The vicious beauty versus the loyal, rugged hero. I ship it so hard. This is some gourmet level drama. This is how you do it. What is wrong with you people? Why are you happy she's into him now? If he's not a virgin, what about our sweet FL? It's fine. An experienced man is better. I've been wanting to say this for a while. She's already lusting after the ML before he's even divorced. How is that any different from being a homewrecker? Reading that, I let a small smile grace my lips. See? There were some sane people in this world. When I didn't respond, the arms around my waist tightened. Jack's breathing was shaky. Rosie, don't leave me. I let out a haughty little sniff. We'll see how you behave from now on. After dinner, once he had cleaned and bandaged my wound, Jack dove back into the kitchen to diligently wash the dishes. I finally had a moment to think. The town gossip was mostly just people saying I was a pretty face who couldn't handle hard work and would eventually leave Jack. There were no specific rumors about me and another man. My eyes narrowed dangerously. So, which one of these gossips had the nerve to start this particular lie about me? The comments provided the answer. RFL is so kind-hearted. She specially came to tell the ML that his wife was cheating on him. But he's so lovesick. A few sweet words from the side character, and he's completely hooked again. Why did the author write it this way? I'm so mad. Don't worry, the FL has another plan up her sleeve. The side character only has a few more days to be smug before she's packing her bags in misery. Excuse me? Sifting through the endless stream of FL worship, I finally found her name. Lily. I quickly racked my brain for any information about this female lead. A moment later, a cold sneer formed on my lips. This is what you people call a female lead? She was Jack's neighbor. A fragile, delicate-looking girl, the picture of innocence. They were childhood friends, and a matchmaker had even tried to set them up. But Lily's family had rejected the proposal outright. Why? Because Jack's family had a bad reputation back then, and they were afraid of being associated with him. If someone like Lily could be the female lead, then why couldn't Nell? All I want is a piece of the good stuff. What's so wrong with that? I checked the time. It was the afternoon work shift. I rolled up my sleeves and marched out, ready to go have a little chat with Lily. I'm no pushover. If you're going to spread rumors, you'd better be prepared for the consequences. But as I walked, the villagers I passed all gave me strange looks. A few of the older women who despised me the most huddled together, whispering and giggling as they watched me. Words like slut and tramp drifted to my ears. My face darkened. I strode over to them and raised an eyebrow. Talking about something interesting? Let me in on it. My voice was dripping with mockery. The women jumped. The one in the lead quickly composed herself. Rosalind, you little hussy, don't you get too smug. Your good days are over. You think just because you have a pretty face you can bully young Jack and flirt with every man in town? Well, you finally messed up. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I wasn't about to lose a war of words. It's called being a femme fatale. You're just an ugly old hag making trouble. Their faces turned purple with rage, but I still felt a sense of unease. The smug gloating looks they gave me as I left suggested they were certain some disaster was about to befall me. When I reached the fields, I spotted Lily in the crowd immediately. A pale, pretty face with no makeup. The picture of innocence. In the words of the comments, she was the ideal wife. Hardworking, frugal, and devoted. Completely the opposite of my spoiled, lazy self. I scoffed. If you love to suffer, you'll never run out of suffering to do. She could have it. I was about to march over and give Lily a taste of the maternal discipline she clearly missed out on as a child when I noticed 2 well-dressed strangers standing beside her. They looked like officials from the county. Lily was crying, her tears like a spring shower, and the people around her looked indignant. What was going on? Just then, Lily lifted her head, and her finger shot out, pointing directly at me. Her beautiful face was a mask of accusation. The comments appeared again, providing a horrifying context. The ML's family name is about to be cleared. The county officials came to see him, and the side character is finally getting kicked to the curb. Our Lily is so smart and kind. She told the officials all about how the side character abuses the ML and was trying to cheat on him. The next part of the story is so satisfying. The side character gets sent to work in the coal mines, but she doesn't learn her lesson and starts sleeping with the workers. In the end, the bastard child in her belly kills her during childbirth. Reading the comments, my blood ran cold. I'm not going to work in a mine. The two men were already walking towards me. The crowd was watching, their faces alight with the thrill of seeing a drama unfold. The older man in the lead had an imposing air, an aura of authority that was instantly intimidating. Are you Rosalind? I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to remain calm. I am. I hadn't cheated on anyone. They had no reason to send me away. You have some nerve, treating a hero of the people this way. The younger man beside him snapped. We heard from Miss Lily that you've also been unfaithful. That's a serious matter of moral character, and we have the authority to deal with you. I have not. I shot back. My firm denial seemed to give them pause. The two officials exchanged a brief, uncertain glance. I seized the opportunity about to launch into a passionate defense. But just then, Pete, a man who was always leering at me, stepped forward, speaking to the officials with fawning deference. Sirs, I can testify. Rosalind here parades around in those tight clothes of hers walking past me every day. She's trying to seduce me, I tell you. Mrs. Gable, whose husband couldn't keep his eyes off me, added with a sour look. I can testify too. It's not just the young men she goes after. She won't even leave my married man alone. One by one, they all chimed in. In their stories, I was a shameless, insatiable whore. But I hadn't done any of it. My only crime was being beautiful. The officials shook their heads. The townspeople have told us all about your disgusting behavior. To have caused such public outrage, you must have a truly rotten character. With that, they moved to put me in cuffs. Lily, hiding behind the crowd, shot me a triumphant, provocative smirk. My eyes burned with rage. You're arresting me without any investigation? You're not fit to be officials. I'll report you to the state, to the capital. The young official sneered, still talking back. I was as nimble as a squirrel, dodging their grasp. In that moment, I saw another comment. Alert! The ML will arrive on the battlefield in T-3 seconds. A flicker of hope ignited within me. If Jack cleared my name, this would all be over. But the next comment extinguished that hope in an instant. Now the ML will see the side character's truly vicious nature. He'll divorce her in disgust and go live happily ever after with our sweet Lily. At the same time, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a tall, powerful figure striding towards us. His features came into focus. I stared, my heart in my throat, as my eyes met Jack's. They were as sharp and cold as ice. This is what you get for trying to come between the main characters. The side character deserves everything that's coming to her. She even kissed the ML. It makes me sick. The writers need to make her ending even more miserable. The malicious comments swirled in my vision, making me dizzy. A sharp pain shot through my body, centering in my abdomen. My lower body felt paralyzed, unable to move. It felt just like the ending the comments described dying in childbirth. A voice echoed in my head. This is your fate. This is the ending for a villain like you. A daze washed over me. Right. This was my fate. Just then, I was pulled into a warm embrace, and a familiar, deep voice boomed in my ear. What do you think you're doing to my wife? The fog in my mind cleared. I could only stare, stunned, at the scene unfolding before me. The two officials were trying to reason with him. This wife of yours is a viper. We're doing this for your own good. Jack, she's been cheating on you. You can't let her fool you. Jack held me tighter, his face a frozen mask of fury. That's a damn lie. My wife only loves me. She abuses you. She hits you and screams at you all the time. And I like it that way. Every time she touches me, I get off on it. What now? The two officials were speechless. Their expressions shifted, and they turned to sternly reprimand the villagers and a stunned, disbelieving Lily. Spreading false rumors is a crime. It's clear this young couple is perfectly happy. You're all just jealous. Now, every one of you who spoke up is coming down to the station with us. It wasn't until the crowd had dispersed that I slowly came back to my senses. Jack patted my back gently, his voice a low, soothing rumble. It's okay, Rosie. You're safe now. His eyes were filled with tenderness. The sun shone on his face, making him seem impossibly handsome. My heart skipped a beat. Before, I had only lusted after his body. But in that moment, I fell for the man himself. Jack scooped me up into his arms and started walking home. I hooked my arms around his neck, replaying his words in my head. A playful smile touched my lips. When I slap you and kick you, are you really secretly enjoying it? His face instantly turned the color of a boiled lobster. He gave a stiff nod, his eyes darting everywhere but at me. The comments reappeared. A beast in public, but at home with his wife, he blushes at a single flirty word. I love this kind of old-fashioned man. How did the plot change like this? The ML is actually in a relationship with the side character? What about her Lily? I don't know, the director didn't say. A real married couple is the sweetest. The mood is perfect. Shouldn't they do something to entertain us loyal viewers now? I second this motion. I glanced at Jack's broad back and his full, muscular chest. Silently, I added my own vote. Motion carried. After a year of celibacy, it was finally time to feast. That evening, after my bath, I changed into my sexiest, most form-fitting dress. He wouldn't stand a chance. But I waited and waited. Jack still hadn't come into the bedroom. I went out to find him, and the sight that greeted me sent a blush creeping up my cheeks. Jack was doing laundry. He was washing my lingerie. His rough fingertips rubbed back and forth over the delicate fabric, his handsome face a mask of intense concentration. He was shirtless, his powerful, sculpted back on full display. Such broad shoulders. Such a narrow waist. I was starving. The thirsty commenters smelled blood in the water and swarmed in. He does the housework, he earns the money. The ultimate husband material. The side character is eating well tonight. His hands must be calloused from all that hard work. I bet that would feel incredible. Reading that, my face flushed again. Are we talking about a G-rated kind of incredible here? Just as I was trying to figure out how to bring up, I saw Jack lift my lingerie to his face and take a deep sniff. Then his other hand moved lower. I shot back into the bedroom like a bolt of lightning. That man, how could he? No wonder my underwear always seemed to get washed so quickly. So it was his secret little hobby. When Jack finally came into the bedroom, he was fully dressed and composed. His expression was calm, showing no trace of guilt. I glared at him. He avoided my gaze and, as he always did, lay down on the pile of straw on the floor. The makeshift bed was too small for his large frame, and he had to curl up awkwardly. He looked like a sad, abandoned puppy. So pitiful. My anger evaporated, replaced by my own guilt. I had always called Jack dirty and refused to let him on the bed. But our little house had its share of mice and snakes, and I was terrified at night. So Jack had made a bed on the floor, and he had slept there for a whole year. Thinking of this, I scooted over in the bed, my voice a soft, alluring purr. Honey, I'm cold. Jack shot to his feet. I'll go start a fire. I almost laughed. I patted the empty space beside me. What I mean is, I want you to get in bed and warm me up. He stiffened, his eyes wide with a mixture of shock and utter disbelief. LMAO. She told him to warm up the bed, and he's losing his mind with joy. Have some self-respect, ML. She gives you one little crumb, and you're wagging your tail. Don't you guys feel sorry for him? Married for a year, and not even allowed on the bed. He's nothing like our gentle, considerate Lily. It's fine. I paid for the script. He still ends up with Lily in the end. I didn't see that last comment. At that moment, my entire world had narrowed down to the beautiful man in front of me. I rolled into Jack's arms and wrapped my arms around his neck, my voice a seductive whisper. Honey, kiss me. Then, I pressed my lips to his. Jack's body was rigid. You said you just wanted me to warm the bed. I pouted. Do you not like this? His face flushed a deep crimson as he gave a shy nod. Well, there you go then. As we kissed, the world melting away around us, I breathed in the fresh, clean scent of soap on his skin. I couldn't help but wonder, why had I ever disliked him? I squeezed his firm, muscular chest, then his powerful arms. I couldn't figure it out. The old me was such a fool. My hand trailed lower, and I gave a little squeeze. Oh, wow. This was bliss. My fingertips hooked onto the waistband of his trousers. I looked at him through my lashes, my voice husky. Honey, I want you. Jack's movement stopped. His expression was tight, strained. He wrapped his arms around me, holding me close. Rosie, let's talk about this later. Excuse me? I couldn't take it. I slapped him across the face, my voice sharp with frustration. Jack, are you broken or something? I was practically throwing myself at him, and he still wouldn't touch me. Jack didn't say anything, just held me and stroked my hair, trying to calm me down. The comments were merciless. Bet you didn't see that coming, side character. I knew the ML was saving himself for Lily. He wants his first time to be with the FL. Ha 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 ha, seeing her get rejected is so satisfying. No. Matter how much you try to seduce him, you little fox, the ML is staying pure for the FL. How does that make you feel? I was dumbfounded. I tried again using every seductive trick I knew, but Jack remained unmoved. He even closed his eyes and pretended to be asleep. I was furious. Who could sleep at a time like this? I kicked him out of the bed. Jack, get out. I hate you. Divorce. I want a divorce. He could go be with his precious female lead. It's not like there's a shortage of men in the world. I wouldn't have any trouble finding a replacement. The next morning, Jack was already gone when I woke up. Face set in a grim line, I pulled out a piece of paper and a pen and started writing a divorce agreement. Yes, it's the divorce papers. The main couple's fans have been saved. Sigh, is my ship really sinking? The ML spent the whole night swatting mosquitoes and fanning her. Then he got up before dawn to go hunting to earn money for the household. He loves her so much. He's going to be devastated when she asks for a divorce. Oh, you devoted man. Maybe in the next life. I paused. A confused expression crossed my face. From the comments, it seemed like Jack really did love me. So, why wouldn't he touch me? Could it be? Was he really saving himself for Lily? A new comment appeared. I'm back with more script spoilers. The compensation from the officials includes a full scholarship to the university for the ML, and he can bring a spouse. He's working so hard to save up money for the side character's living expenses. What? I froze. Suddenly, I didn't want a divorce anymore. But the side character keeps demanding a divorce, and the ML's heart is broken. That's when Lily comes in and saves him, and they go off to the city for college together, all lovey-dovey. Reading that, I calmly lit the divorce agreement on fire. Divorce my ass. Sacrifice myself for someone else's happiness? Not a chance. Once I had calmed down, I thought about it carefully. Jack had never treated me poorly. In fact, he had been almost too good to me. The most important thing in a marriage is trust. Maybe I should trust him one more time. Give him one more chance. Over the next few days, Jack was gone from dawn till dusk. But I wasn't idle either. I looked around our dilapidated little house with a sense of shame. Jack earned good money, and he gave me every single penny. But I had squandered most of it on frivolous things. As a result, we didn't even have enough money to fix our crumbling house, which was prone to surprise visits from snakes and other pests. So, I found some work for myself. Embroidering handkerchiefs, I would get the fabric from the head of the local women's guild, and when I was finished, I'd take them back to her to get paid. If I stuck with it, I could earn a decent amount. One day, as usual, I went to Mrs. Davis's house. When she saw me, she greeted me with a smile, offering me a glass of water while she tallied up my work. I didn't suspect a thing. Mrs. Davis was one of the few people in town who was always kind to me. I was halfway through the glass when the comments suddenly flooded my vision. That's weird. The comments were disabled for a second there. It's the 21st century. Why are they still using such a cheap plot device? Side character, don't drink that. The water's been drugged with an aphrodisiac. I froze, my eyes darting to the doorway. Mrs. Davis was already gone. In her place, a drunk and staggering Arthur was walking in. Outside, Lily, who had just been released after a few days at the station, was getting ready to lock the door. I instantly understood. This was a trap. Lily's face was twisted with hatred. Rosalind, as the villain, you should have been written out of the story a long time ago. Get ready to be ruined and abandoned by your precious Jack. At the same time, Arthur stumbled towards me, a lecherous grin on his face, trying to kiss me. I sneered. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm not some delicate little flower. I'm stronger than I look. I grabbed a chair and smashed it over Arthur's head. His eyes rolled back, and he collapsed in a heap. Then, I lunged for Lily as she tried to run. We have no quarrel, yet you're obsessed with my husband and keep coming up with these vicious schemes to frame me. If you ask me, you're the real villain here. I poured the rest of the drugged water down her throat, then kicked her into the room and slammed the door shut, locking it behind me. Lily's frantic curses quickly turned into desperate moans. She was getting what she deserved. No sympathy from me. The fans of the female lead were losing their minds. Is the side character crazy? She deserved to be ruined, but how dare she do this to our kind and gentle FL? Oh my god, she's not pure anymore. How can she face the ML now? What's to be done? She started it. I've been wanting to say this for a while. The side character hasn't actually done anything that bad. Why do you all hate her so much? Heat. So much heat. A fire was building in the pit of my stomach, making my limbs feel heavy and weak. This stuff was potent. Jack had gone up into the mountains early in the morning. I couldn't find him. My only hope was the comments. I desperately searched for the answer I needed. Amidst the flood of curses, I finally found a crucial piece of information. The ML is under the maple tree on the back hill. Go. Side character, go. My head was spinning and I could barely walk. I forced myself forward and finally reached the back of the hill. I saw the fiery red leaves of the maple tree, and a wave of relief washed over me. Suddenly, I was swept up into a pair of strong arms. In my daze, I thought, is that Jack? The next moment, my nose wrinkled in disgust. This man reeked of stale sweat. This wasn't Jack. I started to struggle violently. Easy now, Rosie. Let your big brother take good care of you. That voice, it was that disgusting pig, Pete. He chuckled, his voice thick with lust. Come on, give me a kiss. Arg. He let out a pained scream. And then I was back in a warm, familiar embrace. I heard the sound of fists hitting flesh, and a man's agonized cries. I clung to Jack's arm, my voice a desperate, tearful plea. Honey, I feel so sick. The moment we got home, I threw myself at him, kissing him, touching him. My body was on fire, and a single thought consumed me. Surely, he won't reject me now. My clothes were gently removed, but all he did was lower his head, helping me relieve the effects of the drug in a different way. I burst into tears of frustration. Jack, are you really broken? I've been drugged, for crying out loud. Are you even a man? His rough thumb wiped a tear from the corner of my eye. His voice was a low mumble. Don't cry, Rosie. You've been with me for so long, and I've made you live in this rundown shack. I wanted to work hard and save up enough to buy us a big house. A girl's first time is precious. Your memories of it shouldn't be of a place like this. His expression was pained, full of shame for not being able to provide a better life for the woman he loved. For a moment, I forgot to cry. So that was the reason. I pushed at his chest, my voice full of indignation. Then why didn't you tell me? You let me think all sorts of crazy things. Jack's lips pressed into a thin line. A man who has to talk about not having enough money in front of his wife, it makes him feel useless. I was so exasperated, I almost laughed. And letting me think you were impotent is something to be proud of? He panicked, pulling me into a tight hug. I'm not. I'm very capable. Very, very capable. I've saved up enough money now. We can move to the city in a few days, okay? I lifted my chin haughtily. We'll see how you perform. The comments provided a final, amusing thought. Whoa, why did the screen go black? What happened that my premium subscription doesn't let me see? Look how happy the side character is. She must have had a good time. Lucky girl. But was the ML really quick? Was Jack quick? No, no, no. He was more than capable. It wasn't until we moved to the city that I realized just how strong his desires were. I finally understood the true meaning of that comment. All she has to do is crook her finger, and the ML would go at it with her till dawn. My back was killing me. Later, I happened to hear some news about Lily. She and Arthur had been caught in the act. After that, she lost her mind. She would just wander the streets, muttering nonsense like, I'm the female lead, and she's just the villain. Hearing this, I just smiled. The moment I became self-aware, I became the leading lady of my own life.
Moral of the story. If mysterious floating comments tell you your husband is secretly a love-struck jimbled softie, maybe don't go cheat with the nearest skinny scholar. Also, communication na assuming your man is broken gossiping villagers equal to unpaid villains, and if life tries to cast you as the side character, rewrite the script and steal the spotlight. But most importantly, before you ruin your life chasing the wrong man, maybe just try flirting with the one doing your laundry first. Like, subscribe, and remember, sometimes the boring husband is just a locked DLC.